Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Master Duel Cyberdark deck profile. So I'm really excited to for you guys because this deck is an absolutely insanely powerful deck to be able to play, because you can summon out one of the craziest boss monsters in the entire game and one of the most powerful fusion monsters ever created, Cyberdark in Dragon, which is just such a powerful card to help you go in for game, and this deck can make it extremely easy. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like your name scripture in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing two copies of Cyberdark Chimera. Cyberdark Chimera is an insanely powerful card in this deck that is just really good at helping us get to our copy of Power Bond, because it has the ability you can discard a spell or trap card to add a Power Bond from your deck to your hand, and you can only use Dragon and Machine Cyber monsters as fusion materials this turn. Also, once when you fusion summon this turn, you can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material to fusion summon, which is an insanely powerful effect to be able to basically turn your copy of Power Bond into an overload fusion, along with it being a Power Bond, which is extremely powerful. It also has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send a Cyberdark monster from your deck to the graveyard with a different name from cards in your graveyard, which helps you get additional monsters out of the deck into the grave. I then play a single copy of Cyberdark Horn. Cyberdark Horn does piercing damage, which is a really good effect. One copy of Cyberdark Edge. Cyberdark Edge can attack the opponent directly, which is a really good effect, but it does have the ability that they only take half damage, which is a little bit bad, but it's okay because you're basically just using this to fusion summon. And then a single copy of Cyberdark Heal, that if it does destroy a monster by battle, then this card will do 300 points of damage to your opponent. Now, all three of your Cyberdark Horn, Edge, and Keel share the ability that when they're normal summon, you can select a level 3 or lower dragon monster in your graveyard and equip it to this card, and then these cards gain attack equal to the monsters equipped to them, which is always going to be your copies of Cyberdark Cannon, which we play as a 3 of, or Cyberdark Claw. Now, Cyberdark Cannon is extremely powerful in this deck, because if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you get to draw a card, and also has the ability you can discard this card and then add a Machine Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand. And during damage calculation, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send a monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is extremely powerful to basically have a Foolish Burial every single time you attack. I then play 3 copies of Cyberdark Claw. Cyberdark Claw is an insanely powerful card that you always want to see in your hand, because it has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you get to target a Cyberdark monster in the grave and add it back to your hand. And it also has an effect similar to your Cyberdark Cannon, that you can discard this card to grave to add a Cyberdark spell or trap from your deck to your hand instead of a monster like your copy of Cannon. Now, this is extremely powerful because you can search out cards like Cyberdark Realm, which will get you additional searches in the deck, which is really good. It also has the ability that during damage calculation, if a monster equipped with this particular card attacks, then you can send a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, which is an extremely powerful effect to just get additional cards out of the extra deck, like your Elder Entity Nist, to pop cards. We then play 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. Cyber Dragon Core is a really good 3 of in the deck, because when this card is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add a Cyber spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and since all of your Cyberdark cards say Cyber in the name, you can add any of your Cyberdark spell or traps off this card's effect, which is really powerful. I then play a single copy of Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon is searchable in the deck, which is why we play it as a 1 of in this build, and it's just a really good card overall to play in the deck. I play a single copy of Cyber Dragon Hertz. Cyber Dragon Hertz is a good 1 of as well to send off your copy of Cybernetic Horizon, which is just a really good card effect to be able to use with this card, because then it will search out specifically your copy of Cyber Dragon from your deck to your hand. I then play a single copy of Dragon Buster. Dragon Buster can lock the opponent out of the extra deck, and it's really easy in Cyberdark to actually equip this to a monster, which is really cool with cards like Union Carrier, or even the effects of your Cyberdark Horn, Edge, or Keel, which is really really good. I then play 2 copies of Max C. Max C is just a really good 2-of in the deck to be able to use in this deck to be able to lock down the opponent, where you're going to get to draw a card every time they special summon. I then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just an insanely powerful hand trap. You can change these out where you play 3 copies of Max C and 2 copies of Ash Blossom. It's totally up to you, but I found that 2 copies of Max C was totally fine in this deck, because I'm also playing 2 copies of Effect Veiler in this particular build as well. You can change it out because I am playing Crossout Designator in the deck. You can change these hand traps up however you want to, but I like to play this amount along with 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence in this particular build. But if you want to change out a single copy of Effect Veiler for another copy of Max C, you totally can do that if you want to go that route. It is an option for you guys, because we're basically using these as Crossout Designator targets, so we can get a copy of Cyberdark in Dragon without having to worry about hand traps. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Cyber Eternal. Cyber Eternal is a really insanely powerful card in this deck, because it lets you target a machine cyber fusion monster in your graveyard and return it to your extra deck or special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. But you do have to properly summon the card first by fusion summon before you can use this card to reborn one of your cards, which is a really powerful effect to just be able to get this card and be able to bring back one of your monsters onto your side of the field. For example, when you use your copy of your Cyber Darkness Dragon and summon out your copy of Cyberdark in Dragon, if you properly fusion summon out your Cyber Darkness Dragon, you can then use Cyber Eternal to bring back your copy of your Cyber Darkness Dragon, which is a really good effect to be able to bring that card back to the field. This card also has the ability that if a machine cyber fusion monster that you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, which is a crazy powerful effect. I then play a single copy of Overload Fusion. Overload Fusion is just really good in the deck to be able to fusion summon using monsters from our graveyard, to be able to fusion summon into a dark machine monster. I then play a single copy of Cybernetic Horizon. I have bumped this card down from my TCG build into the Master Duel build down to 1, because I find that I can search this card super easy with cards like Claw or even Cyber Dragon Core, searching your copy of Realm and then searching Claw to search this. But this card is really good because it has the ability. This card is always treated as a Cyber Dark card, and you send 2 dragon and or machine cyber monsters with different names to the graveyard, 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck, to add a machine cyber monster from your deck to your hand. And if you do, you get to send a machine cyber fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. And you can only activate 1 of this card per turn, and you can't special summon monsters from the extra deck turn you activate this card, except for machine monsters. Totally fine to be able to use, but what you're usually going to do is either send a Cyber Dark or a Cyber Dragon from your hand to the graveyard to send the other one from your deck to the graveyard, and then use this card to search out from your deck a Cyber Dark Chimera, and then send your copy of Cyber End Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard to be able to equip it to Cyber Darkness Dragon when you make your copy of Cyber Darkness Dragon, or to be able to go in for your Cyber Dark End Dragon, which is really cool. I then play 2 copies of Power Bond. Power Bond is searchable in the deck and just really a great card to be able to play as a 2-of, because you send the cards from your hand or your side of the field to the graveyard to fusion summon a fusion monster that lists a fusion type monster as a material, and it also doubles the attack of the monster. Now this is a really powerful card to be able to use in the deck, and it's just really cool to make extremely big machine fusion monsters with this card. I then play 2 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is just really good to stop hand traps in this deck, so it's an overall 2-of in this particular build. I then also play 2 copies of Crossout Designator. I feel like 2 and 2 is totally fine in this particular build, because you're basically going to have 4 ways to stop your opponent's hand traps, which is really good in this deck. So these in this deck is totally fine, because you do have the 2 call by in Master Duel, so it's totally fine just to play 2 copies of Crossout Designator. I then play 3 copies of Cyberdark Realm. Cyberdark Realm will search any of your Cyberdark monsters from your deck to your hand with a different name from cards in your graveyard, and it also gives you an additional normal summon of a Cyberdark monster, which is a really good effect when you search your copy of your Cyber Dark Chimera. Now this card comes in extremely handy because you can normal summon out your copy of Core and then search this card from your deck to your hand, activate this, search your copy of Chimera, and then normal summon out that Chimera with this card's effect, which is extremely powerful to be able to do. I then play 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. Cyber Emergency lets us add a light machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set or a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand, which basically this card counts as your number 4, 5, and 6 for Cyber Dragon Core, because you want to get to your copy of Core as quickly as possible. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, I'm going to be playing 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is a really good 2-of in the deck because it lets you target a face-up monster that your opponent controls and negate its effect, like your copy of Effect Veiler. And this card is just really good in the deck to be able to stop your opponent's monster effects. And then play a single copy of Cyberdark Invasion. Cyberdark Invasion is a really good trap card that is searchable, so I only play it as a 1-of because it has the ability to once per turn activate one of these effects to either target a Cyberdark effect monster you control and equip it with a dragon or machine monster from either graveyard to as an equip spell of the monster that gives it 1,000 attack points, or send an equip spell that you control to the graveyard that's equipped to a machine monster to the graveyard to destroy one card that your opponent controls, which is a really good effect to be able to pop cards on the field. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, I'm going to be playing 2 copies of Cyberdark in Dragon. Just in case we can make 2 copies of this card, I do play 2 copies of it because this card is super easy to summon this build, and it's just an absolutely crazy card that has the ability that it must either be fusion summoned by using a Cyberdark Dragon and a Cyber End Dragon, which you're never going to do, or by special summoning it by tributing 1 level 10 or lower Cyber Dark fusion monster equipped with a Cyber End Dragon, which is how you're always going to summon this card. It's unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, and then once per turn, you can equip 1 monster from the graveyard to this card, and this card can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of equipped cards that are equipped to it, which is just a really insane effect that this card can attack multiple times, and it's unaffected by any activated effects. I then play 2 copies of Cyber Darkness Dragon. Cyber Darkness Dragon is a really crazy boss monster for the deck as too, because it's going to be one of the first cards that you're going to be able to summon out from the extra deck to step into your copy of Cyberdark End Dragon. But this card is really good to leave on the field because it's actually a walking negate that can get really big. It can come out at like 8,000 attack points if you use Power Bond. It'll come out at 4,000, and then you equip the copy of Cyber End Dragon to it, and then it'll increase its own attack points by the attack points of the Cyber End, which will boost this card all the way up to 8,000 attack points, which is really good. It also has the ability that basically it's a walking negate by sending a equip card that's equipped to this card to the graveyard, which is a really good effect. And then play a single copy of Cyber Dark Dragon. You don't make this card all the time, but I do play it as a 1-of just in case you can make it. It's still pretty good, but you just play it as a 1-of. And then play a single copy of Cyber End Dragon. Cyber End Dragon is in here because you're going to be able to equip this card to Cyber Darkness Dragon and send it to the graveyard with Cybernetic Horizon to be able to make your copy of Cyber Dark End Dragon. I then play a single copy of Cybernetic, or your copy of Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Mega Fleet Dragon is really good to get monsters out of the extra monster zone by using your Cyber Dragons in your deck to be able to get them out of the extra monster zone. I then play a single copy of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Fortress Dragon is a good card to be able to use with other machine monsters, plus a Cyber Dragon monster to get them off the field. So this card is a definite 1-of in this deck. 1 copy of Cyber Twin Dragon, because you can make this card pretty easy in the deck with a Power Bond, plus a copy of your Core and your regular Cyber Dragon. So this card can attack twice, and when you've used Power Bond to make this card, it'll come out at 56, which can attack twice, which is really good. I then play a single copy of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Rampage Dragon can attack multiple times and pop spells and traps, which is really good in this deck to be able to do, and also is just a really good boss monster to summon with your copy of Power Bond, because it come out at 42 and it can attack multiple times. I then play a single copy of Elder Entity Nist, because you can send it to the graveyard off your copies of your Cyber Dark monsters, which is really good to be able to pop additional cards when this card touches the grave. I then play a single copy of Cyber Dragon Seeker, because it can boost the attack of other monsters. 1 copy of Union Carrier to work with our copy of Dragon Buster to be able to equip it to a monster to be able to stop the stop the opponent from summoning from the extract. 1 copy of Verte Anaconda. Verte Anaconda is just really good in this deck to be able to use with Overload Fusion in late game, and it's just a really good card. And then finally a single copy of Salamangreat Alamirage, just in case you normal summon out your copy of Core and you want to get it in the graveyard to be able to go in for other plays. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a super fun deck to be able to play with, and the really cool thing about this deck is there's actually a structure deck in Master Duel that you can pick up to get the majority of the cards for this particular build, which is just super cool. I really love playing around with Cyberdark, and you guys should definitely give this deck a try in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.